guys, Willie here with W.T.F car reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing this all-new 2023 Ford Bronco Raptor.
And a huge thanks to Zach and the rest of the management and staff here at Ford of Port Richey for making this review possible. I'll leave a link to our inventory below, and if you're looking for a new car or truck in the Port Richey, Tampa, Clearwater area, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out. And as for Zach.
And as most of you guys probably know by now, Ford reintroduced the Bronco for its 6th generation back in 2021. They brought the Raptor trim over for 2022, basically building upon the existing Sasquatch package, starting with giant 37-inch BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain tires, a beefed-up suspension with Fox Live valve dampers, with external reservoirs and 3 adjustable settings. Weighing in at 5,764 pounds, almost an 800-pound increase versus Sasquatch, but we have more ground clearance thanks to 13-inch wheel travel up front, 14-inch wheel travel out back, which is 4.3 inches of an increase up front, 3.6 inches of an increase out back versus the Sasquatch. We have 13.1 inches of overall ground clearance, which is a 1.6-inch overall increase versus Sasquatch. Most notably, we get a 3-liter twin-turbo engine here, cranking out 418 horsepower, 440 pound-feet of torque, made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission, enough to get this beast to 60 around 5.5 seconds. For 2023, we get a new azure gray metallic color and different sound system options for people who don't necessarily need the Bang & Olufsen. The Bang & Olufsen is now part of a 374A premium package for the Bronco that we have here. But with a base price of $78,000 for 2023, what else do we get for that money? Let's jump right in. So up front, bolder front styling for the Raptor. They say the grille design actually adds rigidity for the Raptor trim. Full front parking sensing, rigid LED fog lights, full LED headlights for the high and low beam, and orange daytime running lights. We get those 3 lights in the center too, just like the Raptor truck. So forward-facing camera in between the Ford badge. A Raptor license plate bracket. Luckily in Florida, we don't need a front license plate, but for the people that do need it, it has a Raptor-specific license plate bracket. Steel skid plates down below, steel colored tow hooks too. I'll take a squat back here. Hopefully pick up the front suspension setup. Maybe I could pick up that rear suspension setup for you too. But we'll check out the rear once we hop out back. We'll take one more step back. Hopefully you get a good idea of the front styling. The hood is also really aggressive. We have these 8 slots for heat extractors, 2 heat extractors in the center too, and it says Raptor on the side. 4 heat extractors additionally on both sides of the fender area. We have pretty wide fender flares for the front and rear too. This wheel and tire setup, really beefy. These are optional, about $1,700, 17-inch beadlock rims with a Ford emblem in the center, 6-piece lug pattern, and 37-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2 tires. Dimensions being 37 by 12.5 R17. We'll take another step back. Hopefully you can pick up the side profile of this menacing beast of an off-road SUV. We'll take a step inside. Running boards, they're fixed and they sit pretty high up, which helps with the ground clearance quite a bit. Additional camera on the mirror that helps out the 360. LED turn signal on the glass. The mirrors are foldable and removable as they're part of the hood design, windshield design. They're not actually part of the door since the door itself is also removable. We get blind spot monitoring on the glass. The glass fills up the entire frame. Black trim for the window trim. We get the hardtop. We'll see how that affects the wind noise once you take this car out for a drive, because the ragtop makes quite a bit of noise on highway speeds. We get smart access for the driver and the front passenger. Keypad right up top. We don't get a window sticker in this car. It's a technically used vehicle with like 900, maybe 1,000 miles on it. I'll leave a link to the window sticker right here just so you guys get an idea of the pricing and the specs and features that we get here on the Bronco Raptor. Out rear, same wheel and tire setup. The only difference is a smaller brake caliper. Hopefully you can pick up the suspension setup. As you see, your Fox dampers with the external reservoirs. They say Raptor on them. Hopefully you can pick up everything else. The gas cap, it's not pushed to open, but you don't have to pull any latches to access it. We get easy fill. I'd recommend premium fuel for this 3-liter twin-turbo engine, but Ford recommends 87 plus, so anything above 87 should work. Out rear, LED taillights, LED turn signals, and reverse lights, full rear parking sensing, Raptor badge in the corner. Shout out Ford of Port Richey for helping make this review possible. Full-size rear spare tire with the backup camera right in the center for the spare tire holder. Tow hitch, I'll leave a link right here, show you what this Bronco Raptor is rated to tow. 2 additional tow hitches out rear. We'll take a squat back here, get a good look at the exhaust tip. We have a dual outlet, single exhaust, pretty aggressive differential. It has an R on it. Hopefully you can pick up the R on the differential, the axle itself, and suspension setup. There's an option inside where you can actually disconnect the rear axle for extra stability and movement for off-road environments. I'll show you what I mean in one second. But in the meantime, we'll take a step back here, get one last look at the exhaust tip. And speaking of the exhaust tip, let's fire up this 3-liter twin-turbo V6 and hear how she sounds. All right guys, that was the sound of the 3-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 sold by Ford for the 2023 Bronco Raptor. It actually sounds pretty decent. It makes a lot of power at 418 horsepower, 440 pound-feet of torque, enough to get this 5,764 pound beast to 60 around 5.5 seconds, which is really impressive. But what you see is basically what we get. We can shut this hood right up. It says Ford Performance on the inside of the hood, functional heat extractors and hydraulic struts, all to be expected with a vehicle in this price point. We can shut this hood down, take one more step back, get a good look at the front styling, side profile. As far as the interior, this is a pretty expensive SUV with a base price around $78,000 bucks. After the premium options that we have here, costing around $85,000 bucks for the sticker price after destination. Let's check out the interior, see what we get for the money. Again, smart access for the driver and the front passenger, single pane windows, but they're pretty thick for the pane, so should keep the wind noise to a minimum. Up top, similar to the rest of the Bronco trims, you get this marine grade vinyl up top and gushy soft marine grade vinyl beneath that. This is a removable door, so I'm not going to knock them too badly for having a cheaper door panel. The Wrangler 392 does the exact same thing. We get the aluminum door handle, lock and unlock, grab handle, and a cargo net on the side. For Performance nameplate as you step inside, we have a Raptor running board too, which helps us step inside without really affecting much of the ground clearance since it sits pretty high up. We have a grab handle, which also helps us get in and out of the Bronco. It says Bronco on it, and some carbon fiber, part of the carbon fiber accent package we have here also for this Bronco Raptor. The seats are also optional. They are leather and suede contrast. It says Raptor right up top. They're heated, not ventilated, unfortunately. We can adjust lumbar, recline, drop, lift, and slide the seats. Taking a step inside, we can really check it out. So, foot on the brake, engine start stop to the right of the steering wheel, and everything fires right to life. But first thing we notice is the steering wheel, very similar to the F-150 Raptor. It says Raptor down below, accented in carbon fiber. For the carbon fiber interior accent package, has that red stripe right up top, beefy 10-2 bolstering notch, 9-3 fits really well in your hand. Kind of reminds me of a BMW M steering wheel. On the left side, we have our cruise control, lane keep assist settings, volume adjustments too. Beneath that, adjustments for the steering and our R mode. You press this R mode, you can see all your My Mode settings. You press it again and it enters your My Mode. On the right side of the steering wheel, you can skip your songs, voice commands, you can hang up and answer your phone calls, and adjust this infotainment cluster. Speaking of the infotainment cluster, right now we're looking at the main menu. We have our settings, audio, phone. Above that, we have our navigation, kind of like a turn-by-turn. When the GPS is hooked up, we get GPS, of course, standard on the Raptor. Raptor information, trip and fuel. We'll check out this Raptor information, see what's available. Off-road status, my gauges, and measurements. Beneath that, tire pressure, pitch and roll, power distribution, and the driver assistance. All nice for off-road settings. Off-road status, you see your pitch and roll. Beneath that, my gauges. We have a turbo boost gauge and vacuum gauge. Vacuum boost, oil pressure, engine oil temperature, transmission temperature, cylinder head temperature. All important information, especially if you're beating on this thing off-road. TPMS, pitch and roll, power distribution, and the driver assistance. We can return back to where we were. Trip and fuel, probably my personal favorite to look at all times because we're not going to be taking this thing off-road, of course. See our fuel economy and our average fuel economy. On the left side of the digital gauge cluster, we have a tach that goes to about 6,200 RPM. On the right side, a digital speedometer that goes to 140. Beneath that, the mileage of the vehicle. On the left side, you can see the settings that the steering, suspension, and the exhaust are in. The steering is adjustable between normal, comfort, and sport. Comfort, of course, is the lightest. Normal has a pretty decent heft to it, and sport tightens things up a little bit. On the right side, we have suspension adjustments. The adjustments include normal, sport, and off-road. We'll check all those out in this review. The exhaust also has normal, sport, Baja, and quiet. This is quiet mode. I'll turn this AC down so you guys can get a better idea of the exhaust. Quiet mode. Pretty quiet. You don't really hear much. Sounds like a traditional EcoBoost, something you get from an Explorer. Sport mode. Oh, that's a damper. I'm sorry. Exhaust. Normal mode. Little beef here. sport mode, and last but not least, Baja mode, off-road use only, which makes no sense to me because honestly it's not really that loud. Take a listen. But it does sound pretty decent for a 3-liter turbocharged V6. Of course, we're going to drive it in Baja mode, the most aggressive mode for this review. The horn area has this Bronco pony on it, rubberized horn area. The horn itself, pretty aggressive sounding horn. People should definitely be getting out of your way. Just like the F-150 Raptor, we have these fancy paddle shifters. They actually feel a little bit cheaper here in the Bronco. We don't get rain sensing wipers, unfortunately, but the intermittent stock is in the center and the rear wiper right next to it. Auto high beams, auto headlamps, and we get fog lights, zone lights. In both of these corners, you simply just press this button and it illuminates your zone light. Interior brightness too. We have an electronic parking brake, hood latch release, and hopefully you can get a good look at your pedals. They're not aluminumly outlined. I kind of would expect them to be for the Bronco Raptor. I would also expect a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel, but it's still tilt and telescoping. You just got to pull this latch up and down. I like this faux aluminum trim surrounding the air vents. It looks pretty premium. We have stitching for the dashboard and off-road adjustments up top too. So right here, this is what I was talking about. You press this button and you can disconnect the stability bar out back, only available of course in 4-wheel drive low and 4-wheel drive high. You can lock the front axle, you can lock the rear axle, and this button, trail turn assist, available in 4 low or 4 high. So it's kind of like a cruise control under 15 miles per hour in off-road environments. Traction control you can disable, hazards, 12-inch touchscreen. It is a beautiful screen, great response. The navigation screen responds like an iPhone. This is of course Ford's Sync 4 system, a huge improvement compared to the previous Sync 3. Audio, oops, we'll turn that down so we're not hit with copyright. Close, you need to listen to that. Phone, navigation, we just checked out. Apps, of course, we get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, settings. You can see everything that we have available. Features, driver assistance, zone lighting, towing, and the owner's manual. On the right side, we also have different views. Right now we're looking at navigation. You can go down to phone, trip 1, pitch and roll. Takes a second to respond. Off-road status, zone lighting, Sirius, and right back to where we started. You press this button in the corner and it kind of shows you a wider view so you can just scroll right through and see what you would like to see. My personal favorite to look at all times, I guess, would be the off-road status. Not like we really need to see it when we're on the road. On the main screen, my favorite to look at all times would be the map. Beneath that, volume and tune adjustments, engine start stop, you can disable, you can turn off your parking sensors. That's appreciated for off-road environments. You can press this camera button and we can check out our front-facing camera and our 360 camera. Both excellent resolution. Press it one more time and it returns us right back to where we were. Dual zone automatic climate control, heated steering wheel, that is optional. Here for the Bronco Raptor, heated seats, no ventilated seats. I'd expect ventilated seats standard for an SUV in this price point, not available here. Beneath that, wireless charging pad and a USB-A and USB-C port. Ford Performance badge, says Ford. It doesn't have a serial number unfortunately, but it still looks pretty cool. American flag, America, with a Bronco right up top, more carbon fiber accents. Gear selector controls a 10-speed automatic transmission, manual 2 for the paddle shifters, cool. GOAT modes, here for the Raptor, we get normal mode, sport mode, tow haul mode, slippery mode, and we get off-road, Baja, and raw crawl. We'll start the review off in normal, transition into sport, see what the differences are. We're not going to take this vehicle off-road, so no reason to try out any of those modes. We get 2 high, 4 low, 4 high, and 4-wheel drive auto. This button right here controls your trail 1-pedal drive. Right now it's turned off. We're going to leave it off, of course, because we're not going to be taking this vehicle off-road. 4-window auto one touch. The reason they're here, same with the mirror controls, is you want to limit the wires running between the door and the fuse box because these doors are, at the end of the day, removable. 2 cup holders with pushy things. You'll fit 20, maybe 24-ounce bottles in here. Pass through, good spot for a phone. Another grab handle, nice little oak crab handle. The off-road driver is driving like a maniac. The armrest is also marine grade vinyl. It's etched Raptor on top of it. The armrest space or console space, we'll check it out. We get this cubby, perfect for business cards, coins, car accessories, and in there, very deep. You'll fit probably 4, maybe 5 2-liter bottles of soda in there. An impressive amount of space here for the Bronco Raptor. We'll put this little cubby right back where we found it. The glove box, you pull this latch, it is damped, pretty large. You'll fit 20, I'm sorry about the glare, you'll fit 20, maybe 25 license plates in here. You'll fit a pair of shoes if you're under a size 12. Decent amount of space. It says Bronco right up top, does not say Raptor. And we have an auto-dimming rear view mirror. It's not frameless, but still nice to get the auto-dimming rear view. 6 auxiliary modes, that's nice for lights. That's cool for trailers too. 3 garage home link settings. The interior light is LED. Nice. We don't get a sunroof or anything, but it's a hardtop convertible. Everything is removable with these latches. I'm not going to do it in this review, but I'm sure there's plenty of videos on YouTube where you can see a tutorial of how it's done. There's like 20 different latches. You just take it off, throw the roof in the garage, and hope to God it doesn't rain that day. That's about it though for the front seat. Let's hop out back, see how much space is offered back there, as well as the overall quality of the materials. No smart access out rear. Up top, we still get that soft marine grade vinyl gushy soft for the armrest, grab handle, and a small cargo net. The running board continues out back. No nameplate, unfortunately, but really not a big deal. The rear seats also get that leather and suede contrast, kind of helps you stay in your place a little bit better. Suede continues for the butt and back portion. They are not adjustable in the sense of sliding them, but you can recline the seats back and forth. That's nice. So the rear passengers are a little bit more comfortable. I'm a little bit over 6 feet tall, sitting behind my seat settings, and I still have about 1 inch, maybe 2 of knee room, plenty of room for my feet. Headroom, I have about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches before my head will start to touch. So if you're under 6'3", 6'4", you shouldn't have many problems sitting behind your seat settings in the 2023 Bronco Raptor. We have cargo nets behind both the front seats. The window controls out here are in the center console area. We have a AC adapter, USB-A and USB-C port. I apologize for the glare, guys. The sun's just shining on this vehicle in a way that the camera just doesn't like to pick up the objects. Nothing really I can do. I've wiped the lens off like 15 times. It's still blurry. We'll try to hurry up this inside portion though. No air vents, unfortunately. For this price point, I would like to see air vents. The center cubby gets a string. You pull it down, 2 cup holders, not a lot of leather outside of it. This passenger will have a little bit more of an armrest than this one. 2 cup holders, you'll fit 24, maybe 30-ounce bottles in there. Decent amount of space. That's about it though for the back seat. As you see, we have all the floor mats and boxes back here for the cargo space, so it's going to be basically impossible to really pick it up. But we reviewed plenty of Broncos. The cargo space here isn't going to be any different than the cargo space in any other Bronco. Hopefully no gators over there coming out to play. But taking a step in the cargo space, simply pull this latch. Hopefully those mats don't fall out. Hopefully I can pick up that cargo space for you. We have 12-volt LED light, roll bar, nice. And left side, not a whole lot going on. Hopefully you can pick up everything. I'm not going to take these floor mats and boxes out. We get a subwoofer out back for the Bang & Olufsen sound system, because that's what we get here. Shut this trunk right up, take another walk around to this 2023 Bronco Raptor. It is a beast of an SUV. I love the way it looks. This power plant should be really impressive. Maybe not as impressive as the 392 from Jeep, but right up there, this vehicle looks like it is much more off-road capable and menacing looking. That's about it though for the inside and outside of the 2023 Bronco Raptor. Let's take it out for a drive and see what it's got. All right guys, now just about seeing everything we need to see with the inside and outside of the all-new 2023 Ford Bronco Raptor. Let's take it out for a drive and see what it's got. So starting off with the exhaust in Baja mode, the suspension in normal mode, and the steering in sport mode. Let's take it out for a drive. Sport steering feels really good on center and direct. Exhaust sounds pretty good too in Baja mode. The body roll is impressively limited. We'll hit some higher speed twisties, see what changes up, but it feels impressive. Still in 2-wheel drive mode, of course. We'll throw it into 4-wheel at some point, try an acceleration off the line, but 2-wheel drive, stepping out here. Lean into it. Ooh! Wow. And at higher speeds, you still hear quite a bit of wind noise. There's less than in the ragtop, but you still hear quite a bit. High speed twisty, the brakes feel good, the steering also feels good. Whew. This thing is nice. Rev match downshifts. We'll see how we can handle the speed bump. Brakes feel really good for an almost 6,000 pound beast SUV. Wow, you don't even feel the speed bump there. That was in normal mode. We'll throw it into, let's throw it into sport and see how the speed bump feels in sport. Come on, Prius. Okay, I'll catch back to you in 1 second. All right, guys, speed bump in sport. Yeah, you definitely feel it a little bit more. Taking a step out here. Looks like a good opportunity to try an acceleration off the line. 2-wheel drive, about half throttle. Yeah. Okay, so it puts the power down in two-wheel drive. Through the twisty, good steering. I'm impressed. We can take it out of sport, put it back into normal mode. See what changes up. Steering feels the same, but we have the steering as a separate adjustable mode. Try it out over these big bumps. Wow, it's like they're not even there. That was in sport mode. In normal mode, it probably would feel even better. Let's throw it into off-road and see how the suspension feels over those huge bumps in off-road. This thing just feels like such a beast to drive. I'm loving it. All right, the same bumps now in the off-road suspension mode. Wow, it just feels so off-road capable. These beast off-road tires. The turning radius is impressive. Like, I don't even need a full lock to make it around here. We knew that with the Bronco, how the turning radius is absurdly impressive. One more time with these bumps, let this truck pass. Engine start stop is working, but look at this. Those are huge bumps. It's like they don't even exist in this beast. Try it out in sport mode. Throw it into four-wheel drive auto. Hopefully we'll have a chance to try an acceleration off the line, and I'll catch right back with you. All right, guys, sport mode, four-wheel drive auto, little brake torque. Let's go. Oh. This thing can take off. I can see 0 to 60 possibly quicker than 5.5 seconds. It takes off at first. And in sport mode, we hold the gear. You can hear that wind noise a little bit. Through the turn. Steering feels really good. I would love to try one of these out off-road, but obviously a dealership car, they're not gonna let me take this thing off-road. The closest to off-road we're gonna get is that speed bump right there. And hopefully you got a good idea of how much different suspension feels in normal mode. Normal mode makes things a lot softer. For daily driving, I would leave this in normal mode all day, every day. Sport feels a little bit more composed through the twisties, but that's not why you buy a vehicle like this. I'd rather have a nice soft ride quality. So for daily driving, I would leave it in normal. The steering feels so good in sport. I'd probably leave the steering in sport. Comfort feels a little bit too light, but sport gives you a nice heft, makes this vehicle feel even more planted than it really is. I think these guys are letting me go. Thank you. All right, guys, taking a step out here, we can try out these manual shifts. The paddles respond pretty well. Doing a little second gear pull. Ooh! Nice, this transmission is snappy. Really snappy shifts. Rev match downshifts, hopefully you can pick them up on camera. It feels really nimble. This feels a lot more nimble than a Wrangler 392. No, it's not as quick. The Wrangler 392 is about half a second to a second quicker to 60. And it probably sounds a little bit cooler too, but it doesn't drive better. The ride quality is not better. Yeah, this thing's still pretty quick. But yeah, the Wrangler does not have this good of a ride quality. It sounds a little bit louder on the road. Like right now we're going at like almost highway speeds. You don't really hear much going on at all. Looks like a good chance to try an acceleration out off the line. We'll throw it back into four-wheel drive auto, and I'll catch back with you in 1 second. All right, guys, no brake torque, just on the gas. Woo-hoo. Nice. This thing can get up and go, but overall, you're looking for an off-road capable beast of an SUV. You want the top of the line, big power, big luxury, big tech, and just big off-road capability. This is probably the best way you're gonna go. Yes, if you prioritize just straight out speed, brutal exhaust noise, then the 392 is probably the one for you. But this is a better off-road capable SUV. It's more off-road capable. On the road, it's more luxurious feeling. It feels 10 times more premium than the 392. So if you're prioritizing overall daily drivable feel and actual off-road capability, I would definitely recommend checking out the 2023 Ford Bronco Raptor. And a big thanks to Zach at Ford of Port Richey for helping make this review possible. I'll leave a link to their inventory below, and if you're looking for a new car, SUV, or truck in the Port Richey, Clearwater, Tampa area, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out. And as for Zach, and huge thanks to all of you for watching. I had a great time making this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. You guys know the channel is just not possible without you, and I really appreciate the constant support. But
Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, leave a like too. It really helps me out the YouTube algorithm. That's how these videos get promoted to new people. Leave a comment, let me know if there's any specific cars, SUVs, or trucks you'd like to see reviewed on this channel, and I'll definitely try getting those videos for you ASAP. But other than that, again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope all of you have a great day.